Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, short of all ages, we are back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. What's up, Demarion? So, we got some stuff to cover, a couple things with quarterbacks, some games that were where we had upsets, and let's get this show going. Coach Williams, double A mug defense. That's what I love. And some other defense as well. I'm versatile anyway, so don't bother me. NFL Encyclopedia, that direction. Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat, who says what? Tua needs to do what?
Man, just retire, bro. Health over wealth, man. Health over wealth.
Health over wealth, man. We're gonna get into that and we'll get to that soon. And then down below, Steve, Space Age Forever White, man. What's up?
What's going on?
You know what it is, man. You know what it is, baby. All right, so Thursday night football. Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills. And we get Tua is, I forgot exactly what happened during the play, but I think Tua's running.
He's scrambling.
And collides with Damar Hamlin, and he not Hamlin, but more so Tua fell, hit his head hard on the ground, and ends up with another concussion. He is on short-term injury reserve now, which means he's definitely missing the next 4 games. The Dolphins do not have a timeline for when he will be back. My personal opinion, I think the young man should retire. We have seen football players suffer multiple concussions before in the past, going all the way back to the Troy Aikman days. I even mentioned former wide receiver Lauren Robinson, who had 4 concussions in one season. He was done afterwards. Luke Kuechly used to get concussions. But they saying that this is his 3rd documented concussion. Okay.
Documented
Documented is the key word there. Okay. What's up, Donald?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Donald, thanks for your help on some stuff. But yeah, so like I said, I think Tua should retire. That's my personal opinion. Because like I said, it's a 3rd documented concussion, and you don't want something to permanently happen to you if you suffer another concussion, regardless of how you hit your head on a football field, if you do come back. Gentlemen, the floor is open.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I remember watching Tua because I was interested in Miami Dolphins because of Mike McDaniel being the coach there. And, he's really, really smart coach. So I started watching him. But to me, it looked like he had 4 concussions in the last 2 years. I know you said 3 documented, but let's just put it like this. That's probably 3 too many at the least. And it's definitely 4 too many going into this week 2 of the season. They evaluate him. He's going through the protocol and all of that. And eventually, because it's the NFL, he's going to be cleared to play. But the long term of this, because what they're still doing so much studying on CTE and its effects from these hits that these guys are taking. And you're talking about three at the least concussions in the last 2 years. And he wants to come back and play. So what happens when he gets another one? Let's say, God forbid, he gets another one next year. Now we're talking about 4 or 5 concussions in 3 years. Like he has a young child. He's married. It's about your quality of life after you take off the cleats and hang up the pants. You know what I'm saying? And some people be like, well, he wasn't that good anyway. And some people really like him, but I'm like, damn all that. Okay, I'm gonna put my little money aside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk away from the game. I mean, it's one thing to love the game, but not at the expense of your health.
Thank you.
So that's why I'm like, please. That's what my caption down here at the bottom of the screen, right here, says, Tua, please retire, man. Please. For the sake of your wife and kid, dude, and any other future kids you want to have. You want to be able to remember who your grandkids are when you see them. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to live that long to have grandkids, but you want to be able to live that long to remember who, when your grandkids walk in, you know them by name. You ain't got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to have somebody, write stuff down for you. Hey man, this ain't nothing to play with, for real. I joke a lot around here and talk about different things. And see, Donald just said, he had one at Bama, so that's 5. That's scary, man. Like it's not worth it. Health before wealth is not worth it. It's just not. It's just not. So that's my take. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all saying the same thing. We all agree that, he should put his health first. If he chooses to continue to play, I mean, obviously playing football is that important to him where he wants to risk his life. Is it sensible? No, but the thing is, the more concussions he gets, the less sensible he will be. So,
Yep.
Hey, if he wants to keep playing, it's his life.
And God knows, because I'm going to add some levity to this, we don't need another Antonio Brown. I'm just saying. We don't.
Antonio Brown took a headshot and
was never the same again.
Never been the same again, man.
Never the same. We ain't hear nothing about Antonio Brown acting a doggone fool until after that Burford kid. That was it. So, yeah, man. But, yeah, Tua, please retire. If you have any thoughts about that, y'all can drop y'all your 2 cents in the comment box, and we might circle back around to get to it. But yeah, man, it's not worth it. It's just not. All right, let's move on.
Speaking of playing time, something after week 2 happened.
Man, look.
The Carolina Panthers have decided to bench quarterback Bryce Young. And now Andy Dalton is the starter. This happened out of nowhere. Everyone is shocked. Bryce Young is upset, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
You look at Bryce Young, drafted in the first round, number 1 overall in 2023. Hasn't had basically any help. Offensive line bad, wide receiver core bad. He had coaches in 2023 that were all supposed to be quarterback gurus, but they ain't do nothing. Yeah, it's bad. And now this year with a new coaching staff, and they already bench him. Now, people always say, when you have a new coaching staff, they're not invested in the previous draft picks, and that's rightfully so, man. But you tell me you giving up on this guy after one game with no help around him? No help?
I mean, You got. I mean, at some point, coaches have to take responsibility, man. I hate to take it here, but other quarterbacks get more chances to succeed than a certain group of quarterbacks. You know where I'm going with it, guys. But I really do understand why some players don't want to play for certain organizations. Because of stuff like this. It's a shame, man. I think he needs more time to play, man. More time to learn the system and prove himself, man.
Well, and Trisha said it best. David Tepper is now the worst owner in the league.
He's the new Dan Snyder.
Right. He has replaced Dan Snyder, who, of course, no longer owns the Washington Football Wizards. So, yeah, David Tepper's the worst owner, and they're gonna go with the veteran Andy Dalton, but I don't see much, getting better. I mean, yeah, Dalton has a lot of experience in the league. He's seen a lot, but you think that's gonna really increase your chances of doing anything this season?
Let me put it plain. Let me just put it plain. The whole roster is a trash bag. Okay, it's the worst roster in the NFL. Okay, it doesn't matter who you put back there. You could get Tom Brady in his prime and put him back there, and it's still going to be a hot mess. So, to make Bryce Young the scapegoat is very irresponsible. It's extremely irresponsible, and it's bad on the coaching staff. It's bad on the owner. It's just bad all the way. GM, all of it. It's bad all the way around. Because at the end of the day, it's not his fault entirely. Is he playing great? No. But let's be real. Is the whole team playing great? No. So it's like the whole team is a trash bag. And to bench him is like, okay, you basically making him escape. Oh, it's your fault. No, sir. No, sir. We are collectively trash, sir. It is not just me. I'm speaking like I'm Bryce Young. It's like, the team's bad. Like, teams like Carolina make it very easy for me to do my Stone Cold locks of the week. Right. It makes it very easy. Okay? It's like whoever Carolina's playing, that's a Stone Cold lock. As a matter of fact. Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah. So it's like, I had to look at my list, but we're going to get to that later. But, it's like they are that bad.
They're that bad, and I'm not defending them. Their roster, like we just said, isn't there. There's also some really good teams too. I'm gonna give them trash.
Sorry, Steve.
No, I was just saying they lost to some really good teams too, man. So to sit them down this quick in the season, it's 2 games into the season, man. It's
and like I said, you're a new coach staff. You're supposed to see what you got in this guy.
Exactly.
He
has to play so you can evaluate him. So when it's time to get pieces, you can say, okay, let's go ahead and put some pieces around him because I think he's got some promise, or he's trash too. And we just gonna start over from scratch. We ain't got nothing to lose. Like right now they competing for the number 1 pick in the draft in week 3.
Competing? No. Unless something happens, I see Carolina picking number 1 again. I just do because I don't know who's worse than them.
Well, this is why
go ahead.
He's smart in my opinion because, and I say all the time, making a change this early, you're pretty much saying you tried everything to win here and you can't. If he really doesn't believe in Bryce Young, have him play at least most of the season so that you can justify being terrible, that you may at least switch from your starting quarterback. Being that he did it week 2, now it's like, all right, coach, you didn't try all options. How come we ain't winning? We're premature.
The Carolina Panthers need to rebuild this roster, man, because there's nothing on there. There's nothing.
Let me tell you something. Adam Thielen. How old is Adam Thielen? I lost track. But when
39, 45. 72.
He's old. That's a lucky combination. But when you have Adam Thielen as your alpha dog receiver, that's a problem. That's a problem, man. You can't say, oh, it's Bryce Young fault. Man, Adam Thielen, my best receiver, man. What you expect?
Yeah, Carolina, man, you living off of old bodies, man.
You done traded Christian McCaffrey. Thank you, by the way. You traded Brian Burns and you traded DJ Moore. Those are the pieces that he needed around him. You just had a fire sale. And then you went and got Bryce Young and you stuck him back there with nothing. That's almost like how the Houston Texans initially did when they first started. And they drafted David Carr. Gave him nothing.
You ain't lying.
Gave him nothing. Oh, you gonna be the savior.
As soon as Tony Baselli went down, that was a wrap.
That was it. That was it.
That was a wrap. I was like, golly.
Yeah.
David Carr did more looking up at the sky.
Yeah. He could tell you every last tile that's in the ceiling of the roof that opens and closes in NRG Stadium. So, yeah, it's, man. So, but mismanagement, complete mismanagement by the Panthers and the way they're running the franchise. And it's going to take some major overhaul for them to ever be considered relevant again. Like literally the NFC South is, you could say, is a 3-horse race right now. Like we don't even count Carolina, you know.
Yeah, because Falcons, Saints, Bucks. Bucks, yeah.
It's a 3-horse race.
Yeah, matter of fact, I tell you what, speaking of the NFC South, man.
Yes, sir.
They had
three of them pulled the upset.
Well, yeah, because the Saints beat the Cowboys, and let's start off with that one, man. Listen,
there's so many things to unpack about that game, but go ahead.
When you play defense, okay, your defensive line needs to hold their gaps. When offensive line move, the gaps move. Your job is to prevent those gaps from moving. So that way your linebackers can fill where they need to. You getting washed out of the play ain't doing anybody any good. If you can't stop the run, you're in trouble. Because no one's going to worry about passing the ball on you because all they're going to do is run the ball on you.
Unless you Kyle Shanahan and you're going to just stop running the ball even though it's working. So, but go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Last year, Buffalo beat Dallas and Josh Allen only threw the football 7 times. They ran the ball the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Until Dallas fixed this defensive line and some other issues, but until they fix this defensive line, this could possibly be a long season for Dallas. So everyone knows that Dallas can get after the quarterback and everything. But why get after the quarterback if I can line up?
If I don't have to drop back.
All right. If I line up in 12 personnel, 21 personnel, 22 personnel,
just come downhill. And you're a defensive coach, Brandon, and I'm gonna say a phrase, and I want you to finish the sentence. And you know what I'm gonna say. Stop the run and
have some fun, baby. Have some fun.
There you go. Have some fun. You know that. So basically, if you cannot stop the run, and here's the thing about Dallas. Dallas has an issue stopping the run and running the ball.
Yeah, that's
no problem. The run game on both sides of the ball is the issue.
Yes.
And it's blatantly clear that the New Orleans Saints are able to run the ball in this new scheme, which is an outside zone scheme in the Shanahan family.
Yep.
And they're able to get stuff done. And they're making Derek Carr look like a genius because when you in that system, if you have a good quarterback that can elevate the system, he's gonna look great.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's gonna elevate the system.
And Alvin Kamara's looking fantastic, and
he's meant for that system. He's meant
everybody just thriving. Chris Olave is thriving. Then some other wide receiver, I can't even think of his name, but he was thriving. Huh?
Shaheed.
Yeah, he was thriving too. So it's like, but Dallas can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. We know you can throw the football. We know you can get after the quarterback.
And then here's the thing about that: throwing the football. The dangerous thing about that is you can't lean on CeeDee Lamb the whole time. Some of these other guys are going to have to step up and be real threats. Case in point, I'll bring up. We talked about it in the green room. We know Stephon Diggs is the alpha dog in Houston, but in that last game, Nico Collins lost his freaking mind because they were rolling coverage to Stephon Diggs. He got a few catches, but it's like, okay, you're gonna roll coverage to my best receiver. I got this other guy over here that's gonna kill your tail if you go single him up and not pay attention to him.
And they still have Tank Dell on that roster.
Yeah, but that's the concern.
But they can also run the ball too. You run the ball to set up the pass.
Absolutely,
it's so predictable. So
and they need better running back personnel, but also the offensive line needs to gel because they really haven't had much time to gel because the stupid offensive line coach wants to sit there and believe in Brock Hoffman and Chuma Doga when clearly Guyton and BB have way more upside. But now I'm going to believe in Brock Hoffman. Man, Brock Hoffman showed you who he was last year as a backup center whenever he got in the game. Cooper Beebe has way more upside. Get him in the game. Let these guys, because offensive line, if people don't know, they need cohesion. They need to work together. They need reps. And they haven't had much reps together as a starting group because I think Guyton and BB didn't become official starters until like at least halfway through training camp. So you're talking about basically a month of really being together. That's not enough.
So let me ask this question. I'm gonna throw this question out here, and people that are watching at home, you can answer in the comments. What was it more of in this upset? And we'll ask for each upset game, but since we started with Dallas, what was it more of in this upset? Was it more how good the Saints are or how deficient Dallas is in some areas?
How deficient Dallas is in some areas.
Okay, so go ahead, Steve.
I think the Saints, man. I think it's a little bit of both, but I think the Saints they've been showing, man, that they come to play this year, man. So I do want to give them credit.
No, man. I mean, do they deserve credit? Sure, but Dallas did patchwork on defensive line, and especially as always, and they did patchwork at running back, and they didn't. And like I said, the offensive line coach took forever to realize, hey, let's get these rookies in the game. I'm sorry, get them starter snaps.
Well, offensive line aside, we even take it from a defensive standpoint. We weren't getting after Carr like that. Man coverage.
But again, how are you gonna get after somebody if somebody running? Or if the only thing I gotta do is run pin pull, buck sweep on you all game long, then what the hell am I gonna throw the football for?
But when he threw the football, we were still getting beat.
And that was on our safeties. I don't understand how in the world you get beat at too deep.
Now, there's one silver lining. I'm being completely objective here. I'm taking off my fan hat and thinking of as an analyst. You do have a new defensive scheme with Zimmer, and maybe it's going to take a little time for it to gel. Because every time we've talked about this ad nauseum and about other teams. Whenever there's a change to the defensive coordinator and the defensive scheme, it takes a little time for it to gel. There's always a step back before a leap forward.
Yeah.
So, Dallas fans, there could be light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe this defense just hasn't gelled yet, or maybe it is that bad. We don't know yet. Time will tell. It's only week 2, so time is going to tell. They're gonna have to prove that we are that good, and we are that good in this scheme. So, but that's what we'll have to see. So let's move on to our next upset because it was about 5 of them.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa
Stay
Bay
in the NFC
upsetting the
South.
Lions. Yeah. We're going to stay in the NFC South. Tampa Bay upset the Detroit Lions, the Super Bowl contending Detroit Lions. I didn't see that coming. I picked the Lions to win. They were at home. And you know, now that they're a winning team, that stadium is very difficult. Ford Field is very difficult to play in.
I'm sure.
I'm still, and I'm just gonna get my take, and I'm gonna let you guys go. I still do not believe in Baker Mayfield. I think we're still at the top of that Baker Mayfield arc. You know how it comes around. I'm waiting. I feel like we're still there because he did something that made everybody say, "Ooh, he beat a Super Bowl contending team. Ooh, maybe Baker Mayfield is that good." You know, NFL memes have been riding his jock all week long and everything like that. I'm not convinced. I'm just not a Baker Mayfield believer. I feel like the he gonna turn back into a pumpkin before it's over. That other shoe gonna drop, you know, and that's just what I think. So I think it's more of a anomaly than the norm. It's more an exception than norm. I still think the Lions are one of the best teams in this league, in this conference. Excuse me, and they were still getting after him. If you watch that game, they still had. You can see, okay, this is still a really good team, and they maybe just had a bad day. I'm not convinced about the Buccaneers until I see them do this long term. I'm not convinced about them just yet.
Well, not to mention
because Baker Mayfield's at quarterback.
And Vita Vea is injured right now too, so that's gonna be a huge loss for trying to stop the run.
Steve, what say you?
I agree with everything you guys said, man. I got to see a lot more from, like you said, Baker's gonna Baker at some point, man. He catches a little streak, people celebrate him. He fools people into, praising him, and then he lets him down. He Bakers, man. So, he's in a little streak right now. I don't want to give him too much credit too soon, like everybody else is, man. I can't, man.
You know what? It's amazing how people hype up players so quickly, man.
Yes.
Instead of just being patient and seeing what happens, let stuff develop, man. Like I said, this is not a microwave league, man. Where you just put a TV dinner in and just say, okay, yeah, we finished now. No, you putting a brisket on a smoker, man.
Slow and low.
That's right. That's right.
So, same question. Do you believe that the upset in Detroit was more about Tampa Bay being good or about Detroit maybe just having a bad day?
Having a bad day.
Yeah.
Because Aiden Hutchinson by himself had like 5 sacks.
He ate. Aiden Hutchinson is a whole dog. That boy is a dog.
So everybody else just had a bad day.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson had a bad day. Hey, they just set the table. I'm gonna eat. I don't know what y'all finna do, but I'm finna fix a plate and sit down and eat.
Listen, and people know that if this game would have been played 9 other times, Tampa Bay's won at least 8 of those.
Detroit, you mean?
I mean Detroit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If Detroit would have played Tampa Bay 9 more times, Detroit would have won at least 8 more of those. So,
but yeah, there's so many upsets this week. I have to contribute a lot of those to. Man, still shaking the rust off from the preseason, man.
That's another thing too. Like, and I, for real, some teams, and sometimes it takes longer for some teams than others. You really don't find out until damn near after Thanksgiving who's who.
At least the first half of the season, anyway.
The first half of the season when you really start seeing some teams being molded.
7 to 8 games in, you're like, okay, this is who they are. That's when my picks really get easy around that time.
I'm sorry, real quick. Unless someone catches a hot streak or someone ends up on a losing streak, and then kind of shifts.
Yeah. But staying in the division, we talked about the Saints, we talked about the Buccaneers. All of these guys were dogs, and now we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds.
Dirty Birds.
And these guys pulled an upset in Philadelphia against the Eagles. And
By the way, Devin White was a healthy scratch.
which I still don't understand because their issue is at linebacker.
Well, Nakobe Dean's supposed to be the starter, but shoot, my thing is he's injury prone.
Yeah, and I didn't see much that made me say, "Ooh, Nakobe Dean." So, but yeah, I think I really believe that that the Falcons just might be good. Honestly, with the addition of Matt Judon, I don't know if y'all watched that game.
I did not.
Matt Judon was flying all over the place. I forgot how many sacks he had in that game, but if you play in a fantasy league, they use defensive players. Yeah, and Matt Judon's available. Grab him because he's eating in that defensive scheme.
I'm not surprised.
Kirk Cousins came out a little rusty, but in that last drive, Kirk Cousins looked like, well, he didn't look like Kirk Cousins. Honestly, he was very precise. He was very intentional about delivering the ball, and he got them he got them that score to win the game. And I was thoroughly impressed. Meanwhile, we don't have to even go into how you feel about Jalen Hurts. He's a running back playing quarterback, but he doesn't look like the Jalen Hurts that got to a Super Bowl and played a really great game against the Super Bowl. He doesn't look like that Jalen. You like that? Yeah, Kirk Cousins. No, I don't. I didn't like him to that last drive. But Jalen Hurts doesn't look that great. Saquon is going to Saquon. Saquon is going to say.
Yeah, I mean Saquon fine, but
Saquon is going to Saquon. Okay, but once you shut that down, what have you got? Because Jalen is not looking very crisp right now. And and we all know if you're a long time watching this show, you know how Brandon feels about Jalen Hurts, and how we all feel about Eagles fans. But we all share the same thoughts on that. But
not as bad as I do. But yeah, go ahead.
In the interest of time, was this upset? Was this more about the Eagles just not finding themselves with this new scheme with Vic Fangio, or was it more about Atlanta being good? My opinion, I think it's a little bit of both.
See, I'm gonna let you go first.
No, you can go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
Well, y'all know who I picked to win that division down there in NFC South. So, I mean, I think they're gelling. They need a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. To help advance them, man. They picked up Judon. They picked up some veteran pieces. I think they're going to be good this year.
All right. Let me play my piano. Okay. Number one, Nick Sirianni is an emotional coach that's not going to be successful. Number two, Kellen Moore's not a quarterback developer. He did not develop Dak Prescott. John Kitna did, and he did not develop Justin Herbert.
Let's do Eric, man.
Okay. Number three, like Eric proved to me, Jalen Hurts is a running back that plays quarterback. You want to know why they got to the Super Bowl? Because he can run. Okay, you know how many quarterbacks can run? You know how many quarterbacks in history that can run? Randall Cunningham can run. Michael Vick can run. Steve McNair can run. Donovan McNabb can run. Dante Culpepper can run. Cam Newton can run. Lamar Jackson can run. Okay, there's a lot of running quarterbacks. Just because you can run don't mean you're good. He's not a mental processor. Never have been, never will be. Okay? Number four, the damn defense. The defense hasn't done anything since the Super Bowl run. They led the league in sacks. You know what they're doing now? Nothing. You got all these Georgia players. Oh, we're the Philadelphia Bulldogs. Listen, Washington tried that nonsense, and they had all those Alabama Crimson Tide players. They had Payne, Allen, Foster, and Collins. And what happened? Oh, we the Washington Crimson Tide. And guess what I'm telling Washington Crimson Tide? Not a damn thing. Okay? The Philadelphia Bulldogs, Eagles, whatever you want to call them, at the end of the season, I'm going to pluck all the feathers, clean it out, pass it down, send it down to Houston, Texas, where Eric lives, and he's going to grow up with some Eagles. Okay? I'm tired of people thinking that the Eagles are something. They are nothing. NOTHING with a bunch of exclamation points behind it. 1,000 baby oil bottles worth of nothing. Do you understand me?
Be flat-minded. Yeah. Okay.
Matter of fact, hold on. Hold on. Wait.
Trash. I am trash.
Yes.
Okay. So that we knew that was coming when we get to talk about the Eagles with Brandon. So that we just go ahead. Let's move on to the next upset.
Yes, we can move on to the next one, and I go back to being myself again.
Okay, so we also had another upset that happened out in Baltimore. The Baltimore Ravens lost to the hapless Las Vegas Raiders.
And I was shocked.
And that was a shocking turn of events. Now, me personally, I feel like that one was more about Baltimore not doing what they do. Baltimore plays defense and runs the ball down your throat. They trying to throw the ball. Hey, man, quit it. Just run. You got Derrick damn Henry in the backfield playing against a team who is okay against the run. Not great. And Derrick Henry is known to run the ball well against teams that even are good against the run.
Mm-hmm.
So why the hell would you not run the ball more? You kept letting them hang around, And Antonio Pierce is that type of coach. He's a motivator. Hey, we still in this. Hey, y'all, we still in this. Hey, y'all, we still in this. We gonna win this thing. Got to the fourth quarter, we finna win this because we still hanging around. Exactly. Why you paying him if you're not? Thank you, Carl Stewart.
And they did this last year in the playoffs too. They stopped running the ball. They stopped doing what got them that far in the first place.
Exactly.
Derrick Henry needs at least 25 carries a game, man. At least 25 carries a game. He didn't get that. Now, I don't know. I didn't watch most of the game, but how did Gardner Minshew only have 8 incompletions?
That's surprising. Consider that defense. That's really shocking.
Yeah.
Baltimore Raiders. Look, listen, I know Lamar Jackson got better as a passer last year, and that's the way I feel about it, okay? But when you got to the playoffs, you failed to have a successful run game. So that's why I thought you brought in Derrick Henry. I might have said it once on the show, but if I didn't, I'm going to say it now. You have a top 5 center in the league in Tyler Linderbaum. You have a 300-pound fullback. You got Derrick Henry who can run behind both of those guys, and Lamar Jackson can escape out the back door. Okay? You telling me that you can't design an offense where Derrick Henry, maybe he don't need 25 carries, but maybe you just get him going and keep him going enough throughout the game and build off of that, because who's going to stop that when he keeps coming downhill like that? And you still got to keep an eye on Lamar Jackson.
Watch this. Not just Derrick Henry. You have another good back in Justice Hill. He's like the lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder. And like you don't, when you have weapons like that and you don't use them, it's like going bear hunting with a toothpick. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I'm serious. You got you got a whole safe full of rifles, and you going bear hunting. I'm gonna use, I'm gonna use this mechanical pencil. It's like, no, that should not have happened. So, in conclusion, for that game, in my opinion, I feel like it was more Baltimore just not doing what they supposed to do.
But also the offensive line is bad though.
Talk about Baltimore's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
You know, a friend told me that the Ravens usually play down. They play a bad team. I still think the Raiders are a bad team. But man, they play down and they're 0-2 for the first time. I don't even know how long.
I don't know how long either. I'm like, whoa, y'all 0-2?
right.
Like I really had to stop. So, this Dallas-Baltimore game, and we're going to talk about that later, but this is crucial for both teams.
Yeah, it's a must win.
Yeah.
So our last upset of the week was the San Francisco 49ers traveled to Minnesota to play the Vikings, whom they've not beaten in Minnesota since 1992. Nobody knew that stat, but yes, they have not beaten Minnesota in Minnesota. Now, they beat Minnesota since then, but in Minnesota since 1992. They were without Christian McCaffrey. I don't care. Deebo Samuel had 100 yards. Okay? Had 100 yards receiving. If you look at the stats, it's like, wow, they should have won it. If you didn't look at the box score and you look at the stats, you're like, oh, San Fran won that game. Brock Purdy threw for 300 yards. Deebo Samuel had 100 yards receiving. Jordan Mason had 100 yards rushing. Nick Bosa had 2.5 sacks. And it's like, oh, they won that game. No, they didn't. You know why? Because Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan was in straight playoff mode. I'm going to stop doing what works. Kind of like Baltimore. Jordan Mason was getting 5 yards a clip. I'm going to just stop running the ball and try to sling it all over the yard for no reason. Even though Brian Flores, and hats off to him, Brian Flores' defensive scheme is nuts. He's always giving the Niners, and those who run that scheme, he's giving them fits. Everybody who's ever run that scheme, he's giving fits. But there's no reason that they should have lost to freaking Sam Darnold. Okay, it was a blown coverage on a 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson. That was just a blown coverage because if you take away that 97-yard touchdown, Justin Jefferson had 3 catches for 36 yards. But the defense did everything they could to keep the Niners in the game, but the offense let them down, and I put that squarely on the shoulders of Kyle Shanahan. And watch this. Y'all going to be like, how, Eric? It's also John Lynch's fault. How, Eric? Well, I'll tell you how. Anytime Trent Williams allows a sack, that's rust. Where does rust come from? Not being in training camp. Why is he not in training camp? Because he needed a new deal. Why didn't he get a new deal? Because John Lynch procrastinates and paying his people. Why didn't Brandon Ayuk do anything? He only had like 4 catches. Because he wasn't in training camp. Why wasn't he in training camp? They trying to get a deal done. Why didn't they get that deal done in March? I don't know. That's just John Lynch. So that's how I blame him for that. And I blame Kyle Shanahan for just overthinking. His arrogance and his hubris cost the Niners games all the time when they lose to teams that are clearly inferior to them. But I told everybody who's a Vikings fan, I'm like, hey, man, enjoy that because the upside, all I can think about is the upside. The Niners are going to get people back. There was no Talanoa Hufanga. There was no Dre Greenlaw. They're going to get people back. I think they're going to be okay as long as they stay healthy. That's it. And Kyle Shanahan's not an idiot. Okay, go ahead, fellas.
Listen, if Kyle Shanahan don't win the Super Bowl with the 49ers, they're going to have to do a 30 for 30 on him.
Yeah.
Because ain't no way in the world, and I've said this before, San Francisco's been the best team in the NFC conference for the last 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to the Super Bowl twice. You easily could have won both times. You've been to the NFC Championship game 2 more times. You could have won both or at least one of them. And to me, and I say this too, Detroit has closed the gap because they signed those 3 veteran receivers and got them on the veteran side of the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Cal, time is now, man. The window's open.
It's now or never.
Honestly. It's open. But if you don't win, man, we need to do a 30 for 30 on you.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Because
love to have that roster.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, I said, do you know how many coaches would love to have that San Fran roster, man?
Man,
Like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
I would love to have that San Fran roster.
No doubt. I don't disagree with you. It's just like nobody at this point, nobody's doing less with more than Kyle Shanahan. It's like, bro.
And Eric, I told you before, and we're gonna move on after this. You have a stack of running backs. Games that are like against Carolina, Christian McCaffrey only needs like 10 or 15 touches.
No, I don't even need that.
Get the ball to the other guys. But then also you should be able to spread the football amongst the football players on our roster, the skill guys, man, because Kittle, Samuel, Ayuk, McCaffrey, Kyle. I mean, Juwan Jennings. Did I get his name correct? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings. I mean, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And I'm confused, but maybe that's me.
Now, I did say that the Niners would have a slow start to the beginning of the season, but that was ridiculous. That wasn't a game that they were supposed to lose. It's like, no. I predicted a slow start against some stronger opponents, but a Sam Darnold-led Vikings team is not what's up. It's just not.
No, not at all.
So, that those upsets were just, But let's move on. Let's put in our top five teams, because of course it's changed. I know my top five have changed over this past weekend. We'll start with five. You say our five, or you say our 4, 3, 2, and so forth. Okay. Steve, who you got at number 5?
Number 5, I know I had 5A, 5B last week. I'm gonna say Lions still.
Okay. Brandon?
Number 5. Let's go with, man, let me ask you a question. Should I overreact or not?
We're just going off of what the 2 games that have been played.
All right, I tell you what then. Number 5 is going to be the LA Chargers.
Okay.
I know this might be an overreaction, and I understand if it is, okay?
I don't think it is, because when I get to my picks, I'm going to explain why, but let's keep it rolling.
I
don't think that's far-fetched.
I'm a huge fan of Jim Harbaugh and how he runs just the team, period. And I said when we covered the AFC West and the rankings, I said they are going to be very, very physical. Now, are they going to be able to outscore people? Probably not. But if that game is close,
if they have the initiative, they can win the game.
They can win some games, and they are going to win some games.
I agree with that. I agree.
Jim, when he was in San Francisco, they were physical. When Michigan won the championship, they were physical.
That's his style.
He's with the Chargers. Again, they are physical. They are going to be physical, and that is what wins championships at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's being physical like they are.
And then late in the season when everything gets cold
outside. And like I said, if I'm gonna choose somebody to be number 5, give me somebody who maybe they're not a playoff roster, maybe not yet, but they have playoff foundation because they're physical.
Okay, so my number 5 is I agree with Steve, is also the Detroit Lions. Even though they're 1-1, I still feel like they're still one of the best teams in the league, if not the conference, if not the league. I said that backwards. But yeah, I still believe in the Detroit Lions. So number 4, Steve.
Number 4, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna say the Niners.
Okay. I'm gonna save time. I had the exact same thing. I bumped the Niners from 2 to 4 because just not because they're not better than the team they lost to. It's just they just did dumb stuff. So yeah, and I feel like once everybody's healthy, I don't think they leave out of the top 5 unless they just start a losing streak. But they're like next week they're going into this game without Deebo Samuel. So, but we'll get into that later. Tristan, not Tristan. Brandon, who's your number 4?
Number 4. I am going to choose. I'm gonna choose Buffalo.
Okay.
Buffalo is 2-0. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Yeah, okay. Buffalo number 2. Okay. I'm not number 2, number 4, excuse me. Buffalo number 4. They're 2-0. We'll see what happens. But it looks like unless something happens with New York, Buffalo might be the early favorites to win that division. I don't know how far they would go in the playoffs, but if they can run the ball, set up some play action, because they have some tall football targets to throw the football to, a couple tight ends, and the rookie Kenyon Coleman. They can do some damage. And their defense is not bad. But so yeah, I got Buffalo number 4.
Okay. Steve, number 3.
I'm going to say the Chargers.
Okay.
Ooh. So I wasn't reaching. Uh-oh.
Okay. So, all right. My number 3, I have, drum roll, the New Orleans Saints. And I know people are going to say, well, they played Carolina for their first game, and Dallas wasn't prepared to play them. But Dallas is considered to be a playoff team. Now, the Carolina game, yeah, we'll throw that out. But it's the fact that they were able to, this offense, they were able to put up over 40 points in both games. And the defense is still really solid. And now, could this change as soon as next week? Absolutely. It could. Their real test is going to be coming up this weekend. When I get to my picks, we'll talk about it. But as of right now, they're doing I think people are not looking at them like that because it's the Saints. But if it was, say, another team, like, okay, prime example, let's say San Francisco started off 47 points one game, 44 the next game. Nobody would blink an eye. They would say that's San Francisco. They're supposed to do that. If the Eagles did that, they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's the Eagles. They're supposed to do that. But I think a lot of people are not giving them credit because it's the Saints, and they really hadn't been, they've been right there at the edge of relevant. But now they're like, okay, we tired of this. We're kicking the dough in. Now, could they crash and burn in the next couple of weeks? Absolutely. Because they got to be tested. Everybody's got to be tested. But as of right now, they look really impressive. So I have them as my number 3. Brandon?
Detroit.
Okay, the Lions.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're at number 2. Steve, who do you have for your number 2?
I got Houston.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I have Houston as well. And for my number 2 team, and we said this off the air, but I feel like Houston has a roster that almost matches a Philadelphia Eagles or a San Francisco. Like we were talking about it. Cam Akers is the damn backup running back in Houston. Cam Akers on several other teams is a starter.
Cam Akers 3rd string or 4th string.
Damian Pierce is number 2. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you said he was a backup.
But he's a backup, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I don't know exactly where he is on the depth chart, but it's the point that he's a backup. Cam Akers was starting for the Rams a while back.
I remember that.
So I mean, you look at that, and you look at roster: Tank Dale, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Schultz. And it's like, oh my God, that roster is impressive. And you got that, you're running that same system. And then you got this defense that's going to eventually gel under DeMeco Ryans. They're going to be a problem. They are going to be a problem until proven otherwise. So, yeah, I agree with Steve. I have them as my number 2 team as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, and real quick, Houston, their depth chart is not just deep on offense, it's deep on defense. If you go look at their roster, they're deep at defensive end, they're deep at corner. I mean, they just deep all over the dang on place, man. I mean, it's just tons of depth, and I got them at number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody's unanimous with Texans at number 2. And I think we're all unanimous at number 1. Everybody, let's say it together. 1, 2, 3, Kansas City. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that doesn't change. They're the champions, and until they get knocked off, that's what it is. So yeah. So KC is going to remain at the top until somebody decides they're going to actually finish a game, or until somebody locks up the referees in the locker room. And I used to didn't feel that way, but after watching a couple of games, I'm like, come on, man, it's too blatant now. It's like, come on, y'all not even trying to hide it no more. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, so let's close out with Pando's picks of the week. All right. So last week was kind of rough with all those upsets, okay? Because every last upset that was, I missed on because they were upsets. So I went 9-7, but I am still above 500. I'll be damned if I'm gonna fall below 500 on any of my weeks. That's not gonna happen. Okay. So let's get to it. Thursday night we have the Patriots at the Jets. The Jets are at home. Their 12th man is their turf.
You ain't lying.
I like the Jets against the Patriots in a close one because the Patriots are actually playing some decent defense. But I'm not
surprised.
Yeah, I don't know what that Patriots offense is going to do against this Jet defense. This Jet defense is pretty good. I think they can hem some stuff up. So I have the Jets winning that one in a close one, probably less than a score. Not less than a score, but by a score, what I mean. So less than 1 score. So 3 point here, 6 point there, 7 point, something like that.
Okay.
Next, we have the New York Giants against the Browns. They're in Cleveland. The Giants can't pull P out of boot without instructions and still mess it up. Okay. I like the Browns in this one. Deshaun, you just got to do something, man. You got to do something. Please, for the love of God. Browns fans are dependent on you.
Well, Daniel Jones should struggle against that Browns defense. Now, the Giants defense not bad, but Daniel Jones is the quarterback, so.
And that's the X factor. So that's why I have the Browns winning that game. I feel like they're not gonna. Myles Garrett is eating, y'all. Okay, and I feel like he's gonna have Daniel Jones sandwiches that day. Next game, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to the Superdome to play the New Orleans Saints. I got the Saints in this one. The Saints are at home. They just coming off a really, really big emotional win because let's be real. The Saints, and I work with a Saints fan, okay? And she said if we don't win but 2 games or 3 games this year, we need to beat Dallas and the Falcons twice. That's it. I'm happy. We ain't got to make the playoffs. So that's like a huge emotional win for Saints fans beating Dallas in Dallas. That Nation is going to be in that Superdome. It's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. It's going to be crazy. And I think the Saints outlast the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles defense has gelled enough to the Eagles defense has not gelled enough to handle this offense that the Saints is running. Also, if you hadn't noticed, the Eagles are a little bit suspect when it comes to the run. Oops. And Alvin Kamara, just to remember that he's good again.
And that's what and that's with a 380-pound Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah. And they're not that tough against it because Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier had a field day against the Eagles defense. If that doesn't get sewn up this week, I think Alvin Kamara could eat. So fantasy fans, if you own Alvin Kamara, start him. I would start him against this Eagles defense. So I have the Saints. Next game, I have the Houston Texans are traveling to Minnesota, and they're going to do what San Francisco couldn't. I really feel like they're going to be able to do what San Francisco could not do, and that's defeat. Yeah, they're going to run the ball. Joe Mixon going to get after it. He's going to run the ball. I feel like C.J. Stroud's going to make some really good reads and when it's necessary. And I just don't feel like as good as Brian Flores' scheme is, I don't feel like they had a personnel that can match up with Houston's weapons. And I got the Texans winning by a score in Minnesota. They go to 3-0. Next game, the Broncos are at the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, the Buccaneers are going to go 3-0. Okay, because the Broncos are just, hey man, you know, it's the Broncos, and more laurels will be heaped upon Baker Mayfield, and everybody's gonna be talking about how great he is because we at the top of that Baker Mayfield arc. Just wait, it's coming, but it's not this week. They're gonna win. I got Packers over the Titans. This is a pick'em game. The Titans really. The Packers need to focus on running the ball more. If they do, they could overwhelm the Titans. Not to mention, I don't think the Titans, same thing, have the personnel to cover all of these weapons that the Packers have, even with Malik Willis at quarterback. Also, Jordan Love practiced this week. Now, will he play? I don't know, but he did practice this week, so he's ahead of schedule on his rehab. So especially if Jordan Love plays, they're going to beat the Titans. But I think they can still beat the Titans with Malik Willis.
And that'd be good revenge for Malik Willis, too.
Yeah, I would love to see Malik Willis go in there and, like, throw down lightning bolts like Zeus from Mount Olympus. The Bears going to get their first win next week against the Colts, this Sunday against the Colts. The Colts are porous against the run. They're like a sieve. And if the offensive coordinator is smart enough, you have some good running backs. You can take the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands and just run it.
Yep.
Run it down the Colts' throat. Also, let me say this. For people that think I be hating on Chicago, you have a championship level defense.
Facts.
You have a championship caliber defense. The whole Houston under 20 points was impressive, even though you lost that game because your quarterback is not that good and your offensive line is a sieve. But that defense, I hate to say it, probably is going to be wasted this year on that offense. Your defense is championship caliber. You have an outstanding defense, Chicago, which is what y'all have been known for over decades. But, I think they're going to get their first win against the Colts. Unless, Anthony Richardson just loses his doggone mind. But I got the Bears. Next game, I got the Chargers beating the Steelers.
Yes.
I got the Chargers beating the Steelers. They're going to come down there and do what they're supposed to do and do what they do. And I think they're going to out-physical the Steelers, even though the Steelers have a really good defense as well. It comes down to quarterbacks. I trust Justin Herbert under Jim Harbaugh before I trust Justin Fields under Mike Tyson.
I'll tell you what. I trust the Chargers are going to beat up the Steelers. Where's this game at?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be embarrassing because Pittsburgh has a history of being physical since the 70s.
That's their persona, yeah.
And even though they have a good defense, I don't know if it's going to be enough for that Chargers, man. I just don't know. I don't think so. I do have the Chargers.
I have the Chargers winning that game.
Yeah.
So Miami at Seattle. I'm taking Seattle in this one just because Tua's not playing unless Skylar Thompson comes out there and just acts a plumb fool. The Seahawks are susceptible to the run. So I don't know. Mike McDaniel has the ability to draw up some really creative run plays. He don't just run straight into a brick wall. So a lot of misdirection and stuff. He still got Ashawn. There's rumors that Raheem Mostert may play. So if he has his full complement of running back, Skylar Thompson's not going to have to do a whole lot. And the Fins can win this game, but because Seattle is home and that whole 12-man thing happening, I'm giving Seattle by an edge. Honestly, these are all like 1-score games. Okay. The next game is my Stone Cold lock of the week. Brandon. All right. I have the Raiders at home beating the Panthers. Probably beating the unholy breaks off the Panthers. The Raiders are feeling good. They're not that great at talent-wise as a team, but they're highly motivated because of their coaching.
Yeah, the head coach is going to have them motivated. So because Carolina's roster is just so bad, and Antonio Pierce will have those guys playing football at their best, the Raiders will win. And what do you know what the spread is on that game?
I do not. I
wonder if the Raiders could possibly win this game by double-digit points.
It's possible. It's possible. It's very possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
Possible. So next game,
2 touchdowns.
So the 49ers are banged up. They don't have Chris McCaffrey, who's on the IR. He won't be back for another 2 weeks. And they just found out that Deebo Samuel is out and will be out for this week and next week. That being said, the Rams are in worse condition than the 49ers when it comes to injuries.
Yeah.
No Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp. I think 3 of their offensive linemen are injured. 2 or 3 of them are injured. Aaron Donald's on the couch watching them play. I like the Niners to go into SoFi, or what we like to call Levi South, and still beat the Rams, even with no Debo, with no Christian McCaffrey, provided that Kyle Shanahan is not a complete freaking idiot. All you gotta do is run the ball, and you have Jordan Mason, who at this point is averaging 5 yards a carry. Just run the ball down their throat. There's no Aaron Donald in the middle to stop that anymore. Run the ball down their throat.
There you go.
That's it. Period.
There you go.
So just go out there and out physical. Hey, throw some short passes to George Kittle. Let him run over some people. They're missing a safety. They're missing a corner. They're missing a lot of people. Rams are worse off than the 49ers in this case when it comes to injury. And let's not just belie the fact that the Niners own the Rams for probably the last 5 years. They've owned them. So there's that. I got the Niners beating the Rams. Next game, I got the Lions on the redemption arc. They're going to go down to Arizona. They're going to beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are getting better, no doubt. They are definitely getting better. But the way Aiden Hutchinson is eating right now, and especially if Dan Campbell goes back to his bread and butter, again, run the ball. You got 2 really good running backs.
Yeah, you
run
do.
the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball, Lions. Same thing on this next game. Ravens and Cowboys. Guess what? The Saints gave you the formula, Ravens. Stop trying to be cute. Run the ball. And if they do that, they will beat the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium. And I have them winning that game because I don't think John Harbaugh is stupid. So I think he's going to actually start putting his horses to work and run the ball. Because the teeth of Dallas' defense is coverage, really. And they're not good against the run. So I would run the ball. You got Derrick freaking Henry. And you're not using him. You got Justice Hill, who's very good. You're not using him enough. So I got the Ravens over the Cowboys. I have the Chiefs over the Falcons. The Falcons are going to give the Chiefs hell. If they're as good as I think they're getting to be, they're going to give the Chiefs problems. But I think the Chiefs are going to pull it out. Now, here's a caveat. The Chiefs are not at home. I'm just going to put it like that. So I'm praying Taylor Swift don't go to Atlanta.
Sure, Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know she's there.
Yeah, she probably that. She probably there already. Anyway, yeah, I got the Chiefs over the Falcons. The Jaguars go to Buffalo. Buffalo is right outside of my top 5. We only do top 5 here, but Buffalo is right outside of my top 5. They're like about 6 or 7 around there until proven otherwise. I think the Bills run roughshod over the Jags. I think this could be a more than 2-score game. Honestly, I really feel that way. So the last game, this was almost my stone cold lock, but I vowed that I would never, ever stone cold lock this team again after how they let me down week 1, because I have never been wrong on a stone cold lock until week 1 because of this team. So that's the only reason why it's not a stone cold lock. But give me the Bengals over the Commanders by a lot. I think Jamar Chase might lose his mind. If Jamar Chase is on your fantasy team at home, ladies and gentlemen, start him. Start him. Trust me. I think he's gonna eat. Okay. So those are my picks, man. I got Jets over Pats, Browns over Giants, Saints over Eagles, Texans over Vikings, Bucks over Broncos, Packers over Titans, Bears over Colts, Chargers over Steelers, Seahawks over Dolphins, Raiders over Panthers, Niners over Rams, Lions over Cardinals, Ravens over Cowboys, Chiefs over Falcons, Bills over Jaguars, and the Cincinnati Bengals over the Washington Commanders. Doors of the church are now open.
I just felt like being random with that.
That was really random.
I know. Anyway, all right. So that was Pando's picks. And that wraps up another show of Just a Fan Podcast. We are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Okay. You can follow us on TikTok. I just did a video on TikTok regarding Tua. Check it out. Okay. And there's a ton of other videos mainly done by Pando himself. Okay. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. You can listen to us after it's uploaded to Apple and Spotify podcasts. We have an anniversary coming up. We have an anniversary show coming up sometime in October. We're trying to get that together now. Yeah, Just a Fan Podcast been around for a while, y'all. So, not for a while.
How many years?
I think this gonna be year 3.
Year 3? Yeah.
Year 3. 3 years old. Yeah, man. Just a Fan Podcast. Just a Fan Podcast should be able to walk. Should be walking and getting ready for pre-K next year, man.
Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button and tell a friend and get them to like and subscribe as well.
Yeah, we had 317, but we told y'all if y'all get us to 500, we're gonna create a Patreon. And that way you can check us out how goofy we are in the green room. Thanks, Kevin. Because Pando is out of control in the green room. So
I don't know what the slander is. I don't know what he's talking about. I am a wholesome.
See, you already lying right there.
Middle-aged man.
You already lying right there.
He lied on me already. He talking about I miss Trent Baalke. I hate Trent Baalke. I really do. I don't like him. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Anyway,
I'll be chilling. I'll be like eating pizza and having something to drink before the show starts. I'm finishing my drink now.
But anyway, I'm Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, the future defensive genius. That direction, Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. He's telling Tua to please retire. Down below, Steve, Space Age Forever White. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Peace.